The African night is a canvas of endless black, punctuated by diamonds of light. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a river of fire, and one star shines brighter than all the rest. Sirius. It is here, beneath this cosmic brilliance, that a hidden tribe has lived for centuries, gazing upward not in mere curiosity, but in reverent devotion. They call it the Dog Star, but to them it is far more than a point of light. It is the home of their gods. Imagine walking across endless dunes and scrubland, the wind whispering secrets of the desert, until you reach a village where every ritual, every story, every glance skyward is tied to that single, brilliant star. The elders tell of gods who descended in shimmering light, who taught their ancestors the mysteries of life, how to plant crops in harmony with the seasons, how to read the skies, and how to heal with roots, herbs, and ceremony. At night, the village comes alive with firelight and psalm. Drums beat in sync with the stars, and dancers twist and turn, eyes lifted to the heavens, as if drawing power directly from Sirius itself. Even the youngest children know to pause and look skyward when the star appears, feeling its presence as a pulse of life, a connection to something far greater than themselves. This tribe's story is not in books nor in museums. It survives in whispered chants, in the alignment of huts to the stars, in the rhythm of daily life. It is a culture built not on conquest, but on wonder that stretches across millennia and across the night sky. Tonight, we step into that world to hear the story of the gods from Sirius and to discover how a single star shaped the destiny of an entire people. Asterisk. The first stories of the gods' arrival stretch back beyond memory, before written records, before outsiders had ever set foot in the savannah. The tribe calls themselves the Namuli, though outsiders rarely know of their existence. Deep within the Kalahari, their villages cluster near scarce water sources, and each dwelling reflects not just practicality, but a deep understanding of nature. Even the way the huts are oriented, the paths laid between them, and the fires lit at night mirror a celestial order. But above all, they live in the shadow of a single star, Sirius, the anchor of their universe. The elders speak of a night when the sky seemed to split. The air was heavy, almost electric, and the campfires flickered as if in anticipation. From the brilliance of Sirius, figures emerged, luminous beings, neither wholly human nor entirely light, descending in arcs of radiance. They did not arrive with thunder or fear. Instead, their presence brought awe and reverence. The Namuli remember them as teachers, guardians, and guides. Our gods came from the sky, the elders say, and from them we learned the order of life. They taught the people that the stars themselves were alive, that each one had a purpose, and that understanding them meant understanding the natural world. They instructed the Namuli in agriculture, showing which seeds to plant under which constellations, when to harvest, and when to let the earth rest. They shared knowledge of herbs that healed disease, of rituals that balanced mind, body, and spirit, and of ceremonies that linked every human heartbeat to the rhythm of the cosmos. Every story told of the gods' descent is imbued with wonder and precision. One tale recounts a drought that threatened the survival of the tribe. Crops wilted under the scorching sun and the rivers ran dry. In desperation, the elders prayed to Sirius, and the sky responded. A figure of light appeared above the horizon, descending slowly to the heart of the village. In their hands was a crystal staff, tipped with a small fragment of the star itself. They showed the Nomuli how to dig irrigation channels, how to rotate crops to preserve fertility, and how to call upon the rains through chant and ceremony. By the time the gods departed, the rivers were flowing and the fields were green again. To this day, the Nomuli celebrate the Night of the Falling Light, a festival where every household lights a small fire, chants ascend to the sky, and children look upward to Sirius, hoping to catch a glimpse of that same luminous staff. But the gods did not remain indefinitely. Their visits were brief, almost ethereal, leaving behind fragments of knowledge rather than their full presence. Yet those fragments shaped generations. The Nomuli developed calendars that tracked not just days and months, but the subtle movements of stars, predicting seasons, weather, and cycles of life with extraordinary accuracy. The alignment of huts and ceremonial spaces mirrors these celestial paths, ensuring that every ritual resonates with cosmic energy. Even hunting and gathering were synchronized to the stars, creating harmony between human activity and the natural world. What is striking is that the Nomuli maintained this system without ever having been influenced by outside religions or empires. Unlike neighboring tribes, whose mythologies often merge or adapt over centuries of contact, the Nomuli retained a singular devotion to the sky. Sirius is not simply a symbol. It is a living entity, a source of guidance and authority. In their worldview, the gods are not distant overseers but active participants in the balance of life. Each year, when Sirius rises above the horizon at its zenith, the Nomuli pause. Farmers halt their work, hunters lay aside their spears, and the village gathers to honor the star. The rituals themselves are breathtaking. At twilight, the entire village assembles in a cleared central space, drums in hand. The rhythm begins slowly, a heartbeat in sound. Chants rise in pitch and volume, stories of the gods' descent spoken aloud in poetic cadence. Young children are lifted to see the star as it climbs the sky. Elders recite tales that teach patience, balance, and respect for both human and divine laws. As darkness falls fully, fires illuminate faces turned upward, creating a spectacle of earthly devotion mirrored against celestial grandeur. It is a moment where time seems to dissolve, and the past, present, and future converge in the glow of Sirius. Yet this reverence is not merely symbolic. The Nomuli attribute practical knowledge and survival to these divine teachings. Medicinal plants, the routes of migration for game, methods of water conservation, all are seen as gifts from the gods. A young healer in the tribe recounts learning from her grandmother, who traced a plant's growth cycle not by the calendar, but by the position of Sirius in the night sky. The plant's potency, she explains, is tied to celestial alignment. The Nomuli's intricate understanding of ecology, agriculture, and astronomy is rooted in these mythic lessons. Outsiders who have stumbled upon the Nomuli often remark on the precision of their knowledge. Anthropologists speak in academic terms. Ethnostronomy, agroecological practices, oral transmission of cosmology. But for the tribe, these are not scientific achievements, they are divine law made manifest. The gods from Sirius are not a metaphor. They are the foundation of life itself. There is also a political and social structure infused with this mythology. Elders are chosen not solely for age or wisdom, but for their understanding of the heavens and their ability to interpret the gods' will. Disputes are settled by reference to celestial patterns, and major decisions, when to plant, when to hunt, when to migrate, are guided by star alignments. This has kept the Namuli community cohesive for centuries, enabling survival in a harsh and unforgiving environment. The heavens serve as both guide and governance, yet mysteries remain. Some Namuli elders speak of the gods returning at unpredictable intervals, sometimes in dreams, sometimes in sudden bursts of light across the desert sky. Children claim to have glimpsed beings that vanish if approached. Crystals, strange tools, and fragments of celestial metal are said to appear in certain sacred spaces, objects that the tribe interprets as reminders that their gods are still watching. No outsider has ever confirmed these phenomena, but within the tribe, belief is absolute. Doubt does not exist. Experience is proof enough. This connection between the Namuli and Sirius is more than myth. It is a living tradition, an evolving culture that binds people to the stars, to each other, and to the lessons of the gods. It is a story of survival, adaptation, and reverence. The Namuli did not simply receive knowledge, they built their world around it. And it is this intricate dance between sky and earth, divine and human, myth and reality, that gives their culture an enduring power. By understanding the Namuli, we glimpse a worldview radically different from our own, one where the cosmos is intimate, where gods are neighbors rather than distant deities, and where survival is inseparable from devotion. In the next section, we will explore the rituals in extraordinary detail, including the initiation ceremonies that transform children into adult members of the tribe under the gaze of Sirius, itself a process that binds the individual to the Kolkanea community, the earth, and the stars above. The Namuli's connection to Sirius is not merely theoretical, it is enacted every day, every season, and in every breath of the tribe's life. But nowhere is this link more palpable than in their sacred rituals, which transform ordinary moments into encounters with the divine. These are not ceremonies performed for outsiders, nor are they symbolic recreations of myth. Each ritual is a living dialogue between the Namuli, the earth, and the luminous beings who once descended from the sky. To witness them is to feel the pulse of a culture intertwined with the cosmos itself. The most significant ritual begins long before the first drumbeat sounds. Preparations stretch across weeks as the tribe purifies both body and spirit. Elders instruct the young ones in fasting, cleansing, and meditation under the open sky, encouraging them to attune their senses to the subtle movements of Sirius. For weeks, children rise before dawn to watch the stars fade in the approaching light, learning to read the heavens as their ancestors did. Their bodies are prepared through ritual baths in sacred rivers, sprinkled with crushed herbs whose fragrances are believed to attract celestial energy. Every motion, every inhalation, every glance skyward is designed to cultivate harmony with the divine. On the night of the ritual itself, the entire village congregates in a clearing known as the Heart of the Sky. This open space, meticulously chosen and maintained, is aligned precisely with the rising point of Sirius on the horizon. Circle after circle of low stones marks the path for the procession, each representing a lesson, a moral, or a cosmic principle taught by the gods themselves. Fires are lit around the perimeter, their flames flickering in response to the soft evening wind, creating a living mirror of the stars above. The Namuli believe that fire is a conduit, a bridge connecting the earthly realm with the celestial. As smoke rises, it carries prayers upward, whispered into the night in a language older than memory. The ritual begins with the chant of light, a haunting melody that resonates across the savannah. The chant is neither hurried nor uniform. It ebbs and flows like the movement of the heavens themselves. Elders lead, their voices weaving a tapestry of stories. The first descent of the gods, the miracles of drought averted, the sacred teachings passed down through generations. As the chant rises, children are lifted into the center of the circle, their eyes wide with wonder. It is a symbolic gesture, echoing the time when the gods themselves reached down from Sirius to bless the young of the tribe. Participants sway. In rhythm, drums mimic the heartbeat of the earth, and the air becomes charged with anticipation, as though the sky itself is listening. One of the most revered components of the ritual is the dance of the falling stars at precisely the moment Sirius reaches its zenith. Dancers clad in robes of white and silver step into the circle. Each dancer carries a staff tipped with crystal, a representation of the divine fragment said to have descended from the gods. The movements are slow, deliberate, and extraordinarily precise. Every twirl, bow, and extension mirrors the path of celestial bodies, tracing constellations that tell the story of creation, life, and cosmic order. Onlookers watch in rapt attention, aware that each motion is both a tribute and a reenactment of a sacred cosmic event. The elders insist that the dance must never be rushed. Speed disturbs harmony and risks severing the link between earth and sky. After the dance comes the offering of light, a moment of intimate communion with Sirius. Each household presents something precious, a crystal, a woven artifact, or even a fragment of dried herb. These offerings are placed in the center of the circle, where they are bathed in the light of the star. The tribe believes that by giving back to the sky, they sustain the balance of life. The elders recite incantations as they pass their hands over each object, whispering gratitude and intention. It is not a sacrifice in the sense of loss. It is an exchange, a mutual acknowledgement between human and divine. Even outsiders can sense the power of this act. A profound stillness settles over the gathering, as if the universe itself pauses to witness the reverence below. The most intimate and transformative part of the ritual is the initiation of the tour. Seekers, young men and women, typically in their mid-teens, step forward to undergo a rite that binds them to the tribe, the land, and Sirius. Initiates are guided into a small, circular enclosure beneath the open sky. Here, they meditate in silence, listening to the night wind and the faint hum of distant drums. Elders tell them that during this meditation, they must focus entirely on the star, envisioning the god's descent and feeling their presence in every pulse of life. Those who succeed emerge changed. They carry not only the knowledge of ritual, but the sacred responsibility of preserving the tribe's cosmic harmony. The initiation is considered both a privilege and a calling. Only those attuned to the rhythm of Sirius can truly comprehend their role. What makes these rituals extraordinary is the way they merge practical knowledge with spirituality. Astronomical observations, agricultural cycles, and healing practices are all encoded into ceremonial acts. The dance of the falling stars, for example, is not merely symbolic. The patterns traced by the dancers correspond to critical agricultural cycles, indicating when to plant, harvest, or conserve water. Similarly, the offering of light is tied to seasonal changes, ensuring that resources are replenished and rituals remain in synchrony with natural rhythms. Every gesture, every chant, every fire is designed to keep the Nomuli in equilibrium with both the cosmos and the earth beneath their feet. Even storytelling is ritualized. During ceremonies, elders recount the deeds of the gods with precise intonation, pauses, and repetition. Children learn the stories not by reading but by immersion through listening, watching, and participating in rituals that embody the narratives. By the time they reach adulthood, the tales are inseparable from the lived experience of the tribe. Unlike written mythology, which can stagnate, the Namuli's stories evolve organically with each ritual, each generation, each alignment of Sirius in the night sky. They are living, breathing expressions of belief. In some rare instances, outsiders have witnessed what they describe as luminous apparitions during these rituals. Small, fleeting lights appear above the ceremonial circle, moving in patterns that seem impossible for human eyes to follow. The Namuli interpret these as glimpses of the gods, observing their descendants, validating their devotion, and ensuring that the sacred teachings endure. Skeptics call them optical illusions or bioluminescent phenomena, yet for the tribe, there is no ambiguity. These lights are tangible proof of the enduring connection between Sirius and their people. Over time, these rituals have not only reinforced spiritual and social cohesion, but also preserved ecological balance. The Namuli never overhunt, overharvest, or exploit the land. Their rituals demand respect for cycles, acknowledgement of limits, and recognition of interconnectedness. In this way, spiritual practice becomes environmental stewardship, and celestial devotion safeguards survival in one of the harshest climates on Earth. The Namuli understand that breaking the harmony of ritual is to invite disaster, not merely mythically, but in the tangible consequences of drought, famine, or disease. The sacred rituals of Sirius are also a powerful form of identity. Even as neighboring tribes have been influenced by colonial or external religious systems, the Namuli maintain an unbroken lineage of practice. Every ritual is a declaration. We are who we are because we are watched by the stars, guided by divine light, and responsible for keeping the cosmic balance intact. This identity is not imposed. It is inherited, practiced, and reaffirmed through song, dance, and silent reverence. And yet, the rituals are not static. Elders subtly adjust chants, dances, and timings based on the movement of the stars and the chi's needs of the community. New generations contribute their insights, often integrating observations from nature that complement traditional teachings. In this way, the rituals remain alive, vibrant, and adaptable, sustaining the Namuli's cosmic alignment while fostering innovation and resilience. By the end of the ceremony, the village is transformed. Fires burn lower, drums fall silent, and the chanting fades into the night. Yet the energy lingers, a tangible resonance of the divine encounter. Villagers return to their homes not just spiritually nourished, but practically empowered, guided by knowledge of the heavens and grounded in the wisdom of their ancestors. The night sky continues to shine, Sirius blazing above, a constant reminder that the gods have descended, that their teachings endure, and that the Namuli are forever bound to the celestial realm. In witnessing these rituals, one begins to understand the depth of the Namuli's faith and the sophistication of their culture. Their mythology is not a set of static tales. It is an ongoing conversation with the cosmos. Rituals are both celebration and education, spiritual devotion and practical instruction, personal transformation, and communal cohesion. To see the Namuli in ritual is to glimpse a world where myth and reality are inseparable, where the stars are not distant, but intimately entwined with every heartbeat, every breath, every decision. In the next section, we will explore the profound cosmic laws and ethical teachings the Namuli derive from Sirius principles that shape every aspect of daily life. From birth to death, from love to leadership, revealing a moral universe guided by the light of the stars, while the rituals of Sirius provide a powerful bridge to the divine. The Namuli's true guidance comes from what they call the cosmic laws of Sirius. These are not written statutes or rigid commandments. They are living principles derived from the observed movements of the stars, the whispers of the elders, and the lessons encoded in myth. Every heartbeat, every act, and every choice is measured against these cosmic laws, ensuring that the tribe remains aligned with the balance of life itself. The first law, known as Lumara, or the law of reflection, teaches that every action, thought, and intention reverberates throughout the universe. The Namuli believe that the energy one emits, whether kindness, anger, or curiosity, returns in kind, often multiplied. From an early age, children are taught to consider the consequences of even the smallest gestures. Sharing water with a traveler, helping a younger sibling, or speaking harsh words. Elders tell stories of ancestors who violated Lumara only to face cosmic imbalance in the form of illness, crop failure, or social discord. Conversely, those who honor it often experience synchronicities, rain falling just in time for planting, rivers swelling to sustain the community, or celestial signs appearing during moments of uncertainty. The second law, Tavara, emphasizes interconnectedness. The Namuli see themselves as threads in a cosmic tapestry, each individual bound to the land, the animals, the ancestors, and the stars. Hunting, gathering, and planting are never done carelessly. Elders monitor the population of wild game, the health of forests, and the flow of rivers, teaching younger generations that the survival of the tribe depends on balance, not exploitation. Violating Tavara overhunting, ignoring seasonal cycles, or disrespecting sacred sites is believed to anger the divine watchers from Sirius. In some accounts, elders recall ancestral visions where errant hunters are visited by spectral beings, guiding them back to harmony before disaster strikes. Another law, Sarula, governs truthfulness and transparency. In Namuli society, lying, deception, or concealing one's intentions is considered a violation not just of social trust, but of cosmic order itself. During community gatherings, disputes are resolved through rituals that encourage confession and reconciliation, often accompanied by symbolic gestures, walking under the arch of stars, holding a sacred crystal while recounting the truth, or offering a portion of one's harvest to the circle. Sarula reinforces social cohesion and personal integrity, ensuring that every action contributes to the tribe's collective alignment with the heavens. Velara, the law of stewardship, is particularly important in the harsh savanna where the Fana Namuli live. It dictates that humans are guardians of the land, not its masters. Every crop, tree, or water source is treated as a gift from Sirius, entrusted to the tribe for safekeeping. Violations of Velara, such as cutting down a sacred tree without ritual, polluting a river, or over-harvesting, are believed to provoke imbalance, sometimes manifested as drought, disease, or conflict. Elders recount that even the smallest infraction can ripple across generations, emphasizing that stewardship is a lifelong commitment, not a temporary duty. Perhaps the most fascinating of the cosmic laws is Alkara, the law of cycles. This law governs the passage of time, life, and transformation. The Namuli see human existence as a series of cycles mirroring the orbit of Sirius and other celestial bodies. Birth, adolescence, adulthood, and death are not merely biological stages, but spiritual transitions. Festivals, initiations, and rituals are meticulously timed to align with celestial events, reinforcing the idea that living in harmony with cosmic cycles brings prosperity, health, and wisdom. Elders teach that resisting these cycles through impatience, greed, or defiance can disrupt the balance, while embracing them allows the individual to flow with the rhythm of the universe. These laws are not abstract. They shape everyday life in profound ways. From the moment a child wakes, their actions are guided by the cosmic principles. Morning routines include offerings of water and food to honor both ancestors and Sirius. Families gather for meals prepared according to seasonal cycles, reinforcing Velara and Tavara simultaneously. Young adults are instructed in the art of observation, reading animal behavior, weather patterns, and celestial movements to align daily decisions with cosmic guidance. Every act, even mundane chores like sweeping the compound or mending tools, is infused with intention, reflecting Lumara's principle that nothing is trivial in the eyes of the stars. Marriage, leadership, and social hierarchy are similarly informed by these cosmic laws. Marriage is viewed not simply as a union between two individuals, but as the convergence of energies that must harmonize with Sirius. Elders conduct elaborate matchmaking rituals, assessing temperament, compatibility, and spiritual alignment. Leaders are chosen not by force or inheritance, but by demonstrated adherence to the cosmic laws, particularly Lumara, Tavara, and Sarula. A chief who disregards these principles risks losing legitimacy as the tribe perceives cosmic imbalance in the form of failed crops, social unrest, or misfortune. Education, too, is deeply intertwined with the cosmic framework. Storytelling is not mere entertainment. It is a vehicle for ethical instruction. Myths describe the gods' descent from Sirius, illustrating how cosmic laws manifest in human affairs. Young listeners learn through narrative, memorization, and reenactment, gradually internalizing principles like honesty, stewardship, and reverence for cycles. Over time, these stories cultivate a worldview where morality, spirituality, and practicality are inseparable. By adulthood, adherence to the cosmic laws becomes second nature, guiding thought, speech, and action without conscious effort. Healing practices among the Namuli are also grounded in the cosmic principles. Illness is seen as a disruption of harmony, whether with the physical body, the social environment, or the stars. Healers employ rituals, herbs, and meditation to restore balance, often invoking Sirius directly. For example, a fever might be treated not only with medicinal herbs, but through chants timed to celestial movements, visualizations of light descending from Sirius, and symbolic offerings to restore alignment. These practices are holistic, addressing mind, body, and spirit simultaneously, and they underscore the centrality of cosmic laws in maintaining both individual and communal well-being. Justice and conflict resolution are equally influenced by these principles. Disputes are resolved not merely by negotiation, but through ceremonies that reflect the cosmic order. Offenders may participate in purification rituals, make reparations to affected parties, or engage in public acts of reconciliation. Under the stars, The goal is not punishment but restoration, returning the individual, the community, and the environment to equilibrium. Elders often remind the young that justice without balance is hollow, echoing the teaching that the laws of Sirius are impartial and omnipresent. In essence, the cosmic laws of Sirius function as a complete worldview. They integrate ethics, ecology, spirituality, and social governance, ensuring that the anomaly live in harmony with both earth and sky. Unlike codified religions or modern legal systems, these laws are experiential, dynamic, and intimately tied to the lived reality of the tribe. They are reinforced through observation, ritual, storytelling, and practice, creating a culture in which morality and cosmic alignment are inseparable, even in moments of crisis. These principles guide action. During droughts, the tribe consults the elders, observes celestial signs, and follows the rhythms dictated by the cosmic laws. Decisions about water distribution, food preservation, and migration are made not arbitrarily but according to the wisdom encoded in myth and reinforced by observation. In doing so, the Namuli demonstrate that adherence to cosmic principles is not passive faith but active survival strategy. Ultimately, the cosmic laws of Sirius do more than regulate behavior. They cultivate a sense of purpose, responsibility, and identity. Every individual understands that their actions resonate beyond the self, influencing family, community, environment, and even the heavens themselves. Life is not random but a continuum of cause and effect, guided by principles that transcend time. In this way, the Namuli preserve the memory of their gods, sustain their society, and maintain a delicate balance with the universe. By internalizing these laws, the tribe achieves a remarkable synthesis of spirituality, morality, and practicality. Each day becomes an enactment of the divine order, each decision a reflection of cosmic wisdom, and each interaction an opportunity to honor the principles of Sirius. It is a culture where mythology is not a distant story, but a living, breathing guide, shaping every heartbeat, every breath, and every step. As the Namuli follow the cosmic laws, they demonstrate that alignment with the heavens is not merely symbolic, it is a tangible force that sustains life, guides ethics, and preserves harmony. The tribe's survival, prosperity, and spiritual depth are inseparable from these principles, revealing a civilization whose worldview is profoundly sophisticated, ecologically aware, and spiritually attuned. In the next section, we will explore the legacy of the Namuli and their celestial beliefs, uncovering how modern descendants and neighboring cultures preserve, reinterpret, and sometimes challenge the ancient teachings of Sirius. Centuries have passed since the Namuli first spoke of the stars that watched over them, yet the whispers of Sirius have never faded, even as time and external influences began to reshape their land. The Namuli's cosmic heritage endured, leaving an indelible mark on their descendants and the surrounding regions. While many ancient traditions have vanished in the wake of colonial expansion, modernization, and religious shifts, fragments of Namuli celestial knowledge continue to survive, sometimes in ritual, sometimes in oral history, and occasionally in the careful notes of anthropologists who stumbled upon the tribe's unique worldview. The legacy of the Namuli is not static. It is a living tapestry, woven through generations of adaptation, interpretation, and reverence. Elders recount how their ancestors would gaze toward Sirius, using its appearance to mark planting seasons, navigate rivers, or time ritual ceremonies. Even today, descendants often pause to acknowledge the star, leaving small offerings at hilltops or riverbanks on nights when Sirius shines brightest. These simple acts, seemingly mundane, preserve a connection to a worldview where the cosmos and the human heart are inseparably intertwined. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Namuli legacy is the persistence of ritual and ceremony. Certain villages maintain practices remarkably similar to those described in ancestral stories. Rhythmic chants that mimic the celestial dance of Sirius, seasonal gatherings that honor the balance of the land, and symbolic offerings of food, water, and light. Children learn these practices not as abstract superstition, but as a form of cultural literacy, a way to understand their place in a universe that is alive, conscious, and moral. Anthropologists visiting these communities often report that even young children can identify the significance of Sirius in daily life, recite the associated myths, and explain the moral principles behind rituals like Lumara, Tavra, and Velara. Yet, the legacy is not without tension. As global religions and modern education systems have expanded into Namuli territories, some traditions have been suppressed, altered, or abandoned. Missionaries and colonial administrators often viewed the Sirius myths as mere superstition, attempting to replace them with Christian teachings, Western law, and modern agricultural practices. In some villages, rituals were forbidden, sacred sites desecrated, and oral histories discouraged. Despite these pressures, many communities retained fragments of the old ways, blending them subtly with new beliefs. For instance, it is not uncommon to find a modern festival where traditional Namuli chants are performed alongside prayers to Christian saints, creating a hybrid expression of spiritual continuity and cultural survival. The persistence of Sirius mythology has also sparked fascination far beyond the tribe itself. In the early 20th century, explorers and ethnographies traveling through southern Africa documented encounters with Namuli descendants who spoke of the star as a divine ancestor. Some accounts describe villagers claiming that ancestors once descended from the sky in glowing forms, teaching humanity how to live in harmony with both land and cosmos. These reports, though often met with skepticism in Western circles, fueled a wave of interest in archaeoastronomy, comparative mythology, and even speculative theories about extraterrestrial contact. Today, researchers continue to examine the Namuli myths not just as folklore, but as complex systems of knowledge, ethics, and ecological awareness encoded in narrative form. Modern descendants of the Namuli are particularly remarkable for their ecological wisdom. The tribe's ancestral laws, such as stewardship, Velara, and interconnectedness, Tavora, remain deeply relevant in today's context of environmental crisis. In regions where the Namuli settled, communities often practice sustainable agriculture, preserve sacred groves, and respect migratory patterns of local wildlife, all reflecting principles first articulated thousands of years ago. Environmental scientists studying these areas have noted that traditional Namuli practices, rooted in cosmic observation, often outperform modern agricultural advice in terms of biodiversity preservation and ecosystem balance. This convergence of ancient wisdom and modern science highlights how mythology can serve as a practical guide, not merely a cultural artifact. Sirius, as a celestial symbol, continues to inspire art, music, and literature within Namuli communities and beyond. Traditional songs retell the story of the sky gods, while contemporary painters depict the star descending among ancestral figures in radiant hues. Sculptors carve miniature replicas of Sirius in sacred spaces, invoking both protection and guidance. Even urbanized Namuli descendants, living far from their ancestral lands, maintain an emotional connection to the star through storytelling, family gatherings, and personal reflection. In this way, the star that once guided the tribe's survival continues to illuminate the spiritual imagination of new generations. Yet, the most enigmatic element of the Namuli legacy lies in the unanswered questions about Sirius itself. Skeptics often dismiss the tales of gods descending from the star as metaphor or allegory. Some historians argue that the stories may have evolved from natural observations. The star's prominence, its brightness, and its heliacal rising could have inspired myths explaining cycles of life, fertility, and time. However, among the Namuli and their descendants, these explanations feel incomplete. To them, Sirius is more than a bright point in the sky. It is a living presence, a witness to human deeds, a repository of ethical guidance, and a source of protection that occasionally modern researchers report phenomena that defy easy explanation. Some villagers claim to have experienced visions of luminous beings during nights when Sirius is most visible, recounting dreams that mirror ancestral myths. Others describe feeling an inexplicable sense of clarity, harmony, or inspiration when engaging in rituals under the star's light. While these experiences are subjective, they suggest that the Namuli understanding of the cosmos is not only symbolic, but may encompass a kind of consciousness or energy that transcends conventional interpretation. The legacy of the Namuli also raises questions about the transmission of knowledge. In the absence of written records, the tribe relied on oral storytelling, ritual enactment, and apprenticeship under elders to preserve its myths and laws. This mode of transmission requires attentiveness, memory, and moral engagement, creating a culture in which the learner internalizes not just stories but principles of living. Modern descendants often lament that this way of learning is under threat, as younger generations are increasingly educated in formal schools where ancestral wisdom is undervalued. Yet, the persistence of rituals, festivals, and seasonal observances ensures that at least fragments of the cosmic understanding survive. One particularly fascinating aspect of this ongoing legacy is the way Namuli myths intersect with astronomy and navigation. Elders can still point to constellations, solar cycles, and seasonal stars, explaining how these celestial bodies guide agricultural schedules, hunting patterns, and migration decisions. Sirius serves as the primary reference point, a luminous compass that organizes both the natural and moral universe. In a sense, the Namuli tradition functions as a sophisticated ethnoscience, a body of practical knowledge encoded in story, ritual, and myth, demonstrating the profound ways human societies can merge empirical observation with spiritual interpretation. Perhaps the most enduring lesson of the Namuli is the idea that mythology is not static. It evolves, adapts, and integrates with changing circumstances while retaining its core wisdom. Stories of gods descending from Sirius, cosmic laws shaping behavior, and the intimate connection between humans and the stars continue to inform identity, ethics, and spirituality. In some modern villages, young people blend smartphones and social media with traditional practices, sharing Sirius-related stories in digital formats while still observing seasonal rituals. In this way, the ancient star gods remain present, not as relics of the past, but as living, breathing guides for contemporary life. The Namuli legacy also invites reflection on the universal human impulse to connect with the cosmos. Across continents and cultures, societies have looked to the stars for guidance, inspiration, and meaning. Yet the Namuli stand out for the remarkable integration of these cosmic principles into daily life, ethics, and governance. Their myths remind us that the heavens are not distant abstractions but active participants in human experience, shaping morality, survival, and social cohesion. Finally, the continuing mystery of Sirius and the Namuli myth endures as both an intellectual challenge and a spiritual inspiration. Researchers debate whether these stories point to actual extraterrestrial contact, sophisticated observation of natural cycles, or a symbolic system of ethics and cosmology. Meanwhile, the Namuli descendants maintain an intimate, living relationship with the star, one that bridges time, geography, and generations. Sirius remains not just a symbol, but a presence, a teacher, and a guardian, linking past, present, and future in ways that science, history, and philosophy are only beginning to appreciate. In the end, the story of the Namuli and their star-born gods is more than a relic of an obscure tribe. It is a testament to human ingenuity, spirituality, and the desire to harmonize with the universe. It is a reminder that mythology can serve as both moral compass and survival guide, that stories carry knowledge across centuries, and that even the faintest light in the sky, like Sirius, can leave an enduring imprint on human consciousness. As we look up at Sirius tonight, shimmering across the vast African sky, we are invited to reflect not only on the mysteries of the Tvisras of the Kivi universe, but on the extraordinary legacy of the Namuli, a people who, for generations, looked to the stars for guidance, and in doing so, discovered a way to live in harmony with the cosmos itself.